This car needs no introduction. You just saw the footage and yes, this is Urus MansorY. I plan to cure your hangover with this one. You are going to love this video. And as soon as you are finished watching it, you can go back to drinking. I wish you happy Merry Christmas and I will go back to that in the end. But first of all, I'm going to talk about this car right here. We've been shooting this car for several days now. The owner lended us this car and it is indeed a great honor for us. He's not even attending the process and he told us to just do our job as we are used to. And he is going to see the video in the end. Thank you so much because for us this is the first Lambo ever. Plus, it is not an ordinary Lamborghini. This is Urus tuned by MansorY. MansorY is a tuning workshop where you can modify your car however you want it. Several versions to pick from are offered. They work on both exterior and interior and of course they tune engine as well, pimping the soul of your car. First Lambo, first MansorY. Right now you're looking at a car worth $500,000. For me personally, this is the most expensive car I have ever shot. Not to mention driving. This is why I'm so happy to be able to shoot an episode about this car where else than at Rustavi International Motor Park. Of course we are gonna do some drag racing because when this car appeared on the market it was the fastest SUV in the world. Plus it was the first SUV type model from Lamborghini. I guess they realized that SUVs were in a high demand by that time, so they decided to create a super fast SUV. This is exactly why Urus is the most frequently sold model from Lamborghini. One thing is owning an Urus, and another is owning Urus MansorY. It is so much cooler. Let me tell you how this works. This is similar to buying a G-Class and getting it tuned by Brabus. But it's not like just getting a Brabus sticker and gluing it to a bumper, because it sounds like 8 cylinders. This is the real deal. The process goes like this. You call MansorY. Pick the package of your choice. You negotiate whether you want your engine tuned or no. What would you like to change visually? There are several versions available. Whether you want your interior be done differently or colored to your preference, all kinds of changes and tweaks are available. These people do all that jazz. So, you're buying Lambo, paying approximately 3,000 K. Well, it depends on what package you get. Then, you call wonderful people in MansorY and ask them if they can pimp your ride. To what their answer is, sure, we absolutely can do that. Add 200K on top and this baby is yours. To put it simply, you already have Lamborghini and you add Porsche 911 price on top of it. And you get this. I frequently use words like beast, words like monster, to describe such cars. This ride is God of darkness. Hades. I don't know if you can see how brutal and aggressive this car looks through the screen. But trust me, I have never ever seen an SUV this ferocious. Trust my word, I have never witnessed a car looking more brutal than this beast. So what does MansorY do? MansorY changes exterior of the car. Everything becomes carbon, quarter panel, hood, front bumper, rear bumper, spoilers, mirrors. Almost every exterior detail is changed into a brutal and aggressive looking part. And this is how they make Urus look more savage. And of course, on the rear side, we have this alien-looking three-part exhaust pipe, a staple of MansorY. There's no way you can mix this car up with other because only MansorY has this effing thing attached to cars it tunes. I can't help but to mention all the beautiful details. Diffuser makes car look like an F1 bolide that you frequently see on tracks like Le Mans. SUV with a huge sport diffuser. Of course it is made of carbon. This trunk spoiler, which is also made of carbon by MansorY. Also, personally, my favorite rear window spoiler, which in my opinion is a great match to any type of car, whether it is SUV, sports car or minivan. Rear window spoiler looks simply dope. This car gives off strong Batmobile vibes. You might feel like Bruce Wayne while driving it. When I saw this car for the first time through the screen, I thought maybe it's a bit too much. This car looked like Lamborghini Aventador on steroids. But in real life, this car is absolutely stunning. Now, I want you to pay attention to the rims. By default, Urus has rims of the biggest size there is, 23 inches. But MansorY changed it to 24. MansorY are the type of guys that would increase the size to 25 if original Lambo had 24. It's just the way these guys are. They give you exclusive modifications for the price you pay. In addition, this bad boy is equipped with carbon ceramic brakes. Now let's move to the hood of the car, which is not covered by any kind of paint. It is just straight up carbon. Same with the bumper, only the side of bumper is painted. I love the texture a lot. It is coated with varnish so we could see this beautiful material. We have 4 ideal air vents for ventilation. This car really needs some airflow. But there are so many air vents up front that I don't think that this vehicle will ever have an overheating problem. I definitely should tell you about these beautiful doors that we have here. As you can see, these doors lack upper frame. Straight up 2 layers of glass that look so beautiful. CLS models, sport coupes, Grand Coupe BMWs all have these types of windows and they look perfect. Just perfect. We decided to go out of town for the test drive because of a number of reasons. First of all, this car is a real attention magnet. I know it is pretty hard not to look at this car when it drives by you. And it becomes pretty dangerous to drive this car in the city when everyone is trying to either surround you or get in your way. Of course, I would most definitely be one of those guys if I saw this Lambo from my own vehicle. So it's pretty hard to drive this car in such conditions, plus it is very expensive. The price is not the only problem when we talk about this vehicle, because insurance companies decided not to cover this car. I talked to owner and he said that insurance companies simply don't want to cover this car. How crazy is that? We are test driving a car that is worth $500,000 and it is not even insured. Can you imagine some dude in Prius smashing into this car? Me neither. That's why we are going out of town. The insurance system in Georgia is simply non-existent, and it really honestly pisses me off. This car is issued in 2021, has mileage of 6,000 kilometers, and you are denied to insure this car in Georgia. So what kind of car should I have to get insurance if I can't insure this one? Do I even need insurance at all? I have said this 3 years ago, and I say it now. And I most likely will say this in 2022. And I will be honest, until the insurance companies change their policies, car insurance policy level in Georgia is below zero. Shame on you. I would like to start with an overall performance of this vehicle. Great suspension. You may not believe me, but this is the smoothest car that I have ever driven. In SUV category particularly. Let's not forget that this car has 24-inch rims. Factory settings for Urus are 23-inch size rims, but this modified 24-inch rims feel as smooth as any smaller size. This model utilizes air suspension, which helps to balance the car in case of bumps on the road. The body of the car stays still, while wheels move up and down to balance the vehicle. This system works perfectly and it is designed to make driving super comfortable. But if we switch our car to sport mode, everything changes drastically. Car becomes super stiff, just the way you need it to be on the racetrack. I would like to remind you that this car has ability to turn with all four wheels simultaneously, which means that all four wheels are able to make a turn. Of course, this is not an exclusive feature of Urus. S-Class were claiming that they were first to bring this feature to the table, which is, by the way, called four-wheel steering system. But in reality, this system existed long before S-Class claims. It's been around for a while. Right now, I would love to move on to the interior of the car. Urus has a very interesting and non-standard design. Italian creators decided not only to use original shapes and forms, but also to do everything in Italian style. Lamborghini signature style. It is very essential. But I would like to point out to one flaw. Well, it might not be a flaw after all, maybe it's just me. But I personally don't like the following. So, take a look at Anima. This lever changes driving modes depending on type of weather or type of area. You can change them by tilting it. Following modes are available: Sport, Corsa. Corsa is a racing mode, the mode we use while racing, the most killer setting of the car. 3 more modes presented are used for off-road scenarios: snow, sand, bad road modes, and the usual driving mode called Strada. Strada is ideal mode for city driving. It's smooth and comfortable. Over here, we have a lever that says Ego. Ego works in the same way, and its purpose is to activate individual modes. We can turn it on by pressing the lever, and after choosing this option, we can see our individual modes info on the screen. If we want to change the mode, we can push this button over here with 3 dots on it, and after activation of Ego, the settings that we chose start working. Remember, I mentioned some flaw that I wanted to talk about, and it is a lever mechanism flaw. Again, it is my personal preference, not a manufacturer defect of some sort, but I felt discomfort because of one thing. These levers over here cannot be tilted up. And let me tell you why it is not good. When I switch a mode, I am not able to switch it back on by tilting lever up. I have to go through all the modes below to indicate strata again. The normal mode. The biggest problem is this big lever over here though, which I thought was multifunctional, but it has only one function. When we pull this lever, a reverse mode is activated. And if you want to go back to driving mode, you need to use a right side shifter, the +1, not the -1, to choose a driving mode. It is really unconventional and confusing, especially when the steering wheel is turned, because we are used to driving only using one lever. Either we want to drive front, back, or lopsided. This little button right here, the R button, is not really a functioning reverse button. And it would be much more cooler if we could reverse car by pushing this little button. On the other hand, by pulling this lever up, Lambo would get into driving mode. But obviously we cannot have nice things. Of course you can get used to it. But I am 100% sure, definitely sure, that the infamous oops moment might occur, which translates as accidentally cracking your rear bumper. This button over here was first presented in Aventador, really sick way to start the car by lifting it, pushing the button and tilting it back down. Super badass. Obviously parking mode over here and manual gear mode. After pushing it, we can change gears manually. Even though we have this option, automatic mode works perfectly fine. Driving mode in this car is absolutely great. Sport and cross modes are insanely efficient. Let's move on to monitors. Absolutely stunning monitors, designed beautifully to fit the interior. You can see our Urus over here. Of course it's not black, but we don't care too much. This is touchscreen, in which me and my mate are absolutely in love with. It vibrates as soon as you touch it to pick a setting. Let's increase this one. We feel vibration on our finger, which means that parameter is changed. Q8 has exactly the same features. There is no surprise that Audi and Lamborghini use same parts, plus all these brands are united under one big brand. So many multimedia parts like monitors and systems are basically the same with a bit altered design. We talked about monitors, so let's move on to an important part of the interior. Dashboard, where you can see themes changed as soon as we go through different modes. Let's switch mode to Corsa. Here you go. All the indicators switched design, speedometer and tachometer respectively. It looks more aggressive now. Great. Gearbox is instantly changing its working mode. You can even feel the switch. Let's get back to a normal mode because it's getting too noisy here. The interior, in same way as exterior, uses bright green color to highlight different elements of design. MansorY carbon steering wheel is shaped with aggressive, pointy edges which make it look extremely sporty, and feels the same way sporty. Let's not forget about carbon shifters, which feel really great combined with steering wheel. The only thing I would add to the steering wheel is a bit more lighting, so it can look even more aggressive and fun. Or I would build in tachometer over here, I don't know. It's just a question of taste and my personal preference. I would love it to have more lights or neons or controls that use lights. I kind of feel like this steering wheel is a bit boring compared to the rest of the interior. Here are some buttons for parking, auto hold, button controlling cameras. I don't want to briefly talk about cameras because I think that they deserve a proper review. I'm talking about a rear view camera and 3D camera. Right now I am on the run and I want to review them in a more peaceful environment. I will talk about other details in depth as soon as we finish our test drive. But before we finish, just look at the Lamborghini inscription over here. Looks simply legendary. Very elegant. Top-notch. Let's take some more beautiful shots, check out landscapes, then we are going to stop and talk some more about interior. See you later. We tested Urus in any condition imaginable, from wind to sun, from sun to rain, from rain to snow. Of course, we didn't test extreme snowstorm, but instead we came up here on the snowy hill using a snow mode, and it worked pretty good. So, now I can show you some stuff that I promised I was going to talk about, more specifically a 3D camera, so let's check it. Here we can press that button, but car turns camera automatically when it is in reverse mode. Let's pick 3D so we can see the entire vehicle. You can see car from any imaginable angle and spot any kind of obstacle, like poles, trees, kids, bicycles, pets. Anything is really visible from this view. Here's a tiny compartment over here where you can store your keys. That's how pretty they look. So check this. When we push the Lamborghini logo, this ferocious bull image, we can eject the key. Lambo uses a bang sound system. Speakers pop up when the car is started. You can see a delightful triangular pattern on the speaker panel. Really pretty looking design. Let me show you the speakers. Classic bang trick. It really stands out by the way speakers just emerge from nowhere. Looks pretty impressive. Looks really good in addition to this speakers panel. Super neat. Absolutely beautiful Alcantara back seats. Lots of space in backside of the car. It is really hard to perceive the actual size of the car through the screen or photos, but I think you can have my word that this car is pretty long. This makes backside of car super spacious. My mate told me how comfortable it was to chill in a back seat. It feels like a living room couch. Let's see what we got in a trunk. I guess you realize that this car is not supposed to have many flaws, because obviously the price you have to pay for this Lambo suggests that it is a well thought after car. Now above the trunk itself, you can see a partition here where you can put different things like books, for example, some Lambo manuals. This is our filming equipment we have here. It's quite a spacious trunk. It's not necessarily most practical because of this protection curtain over here, which I would prefer to be telescopic, but on the other hand, you are not supposed to transit building materials and cement bags in this trunk. This makes it absolutely convenient for everyone to have their belongings fit in the trunk. I think it is the right time for us to move to a good old asphalt because this is obviously a sport car. Super sport SUV. Let's go to a racetrack. Enough of snow for today. I wish there was a couple of carbon elements, or maybe some vibrant colors or something to make it even more badass, but it's fine, since we got Italy flag colors in here. 8 cylinders, 4.0 twin turbo. It's the heart of this vehicle. When it is beating, we can hear 650 horsepower running with momentum equal to 850 Newton meters of torque. Urus is a 4-wheel drive machine. It means that it has all 4 drive units leading, but the system controls everything. As we found out, this car has a Bentayga suspension system. The engine is borrowed from Panamera and the platform belongs to Audi. Yep, they are using parts from different manufacturers and make them work together in an efficient way. This is done in order to take the highest quality parts like engine, suspension, security systems, and put them together to create a good-looking, powerful vehicle. Of course, some people will be a bit disappointed with the amount of borrowed parts and ideas, but it is not that black and white. Car building companies often use this way of manufacturing, and this is one of the examples of such collaboration. All the best stuff is masterfully combined in this perfect machine here. Talking about gearbox, it is an 8-stage automatic gearbox, which of course can also be controlled by shifters. That's why it takes this car 3.6 seconds to reach from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour. Some might take 3.5. Let's not get into the math here. This is not a math channel. This is a test drive channel, and we are going to see how fast is this beast in practice. That's why I am going to close this beautiful carbon hood and relocate us to a lovely drag road. Let's go. Let's do the drag test. I really wonder what the results will be on this wonderful motor park road. It's time for me to shut up and drive. Let's do it. 3, 2, 1. 3.9. Wait a second, let me see. That's it. From 0 to 100, it takes 3.89 seconds. Quarter is 11.83. It is a great result. I should also mention that we are using 24-inch rims, which are bigger, and we get the tiniest difference because of that. It is said that with factory settings, it takes Urus 3.6 seconds to accelerate. Let me remind you that factory data is measured in the most ideal scenario. Here we can see that we don't have a 3 or 2 second difference. It is exactly 3 seconds, 0.93. I will try to repeat a test one more time from the drag road starting position. So let's see. 3, 2, 1. Crazy acceleration, my friends. Super effective. Feels great how a car that weighs 2 tons accelerates with all 4 wheels. Feels awesome. From 0 to 100, 3.96. From 100 to 200, 9.13. From 0 to 200, 13.09. And quarter is 11.75. The drive was pretty stable. I'll repeat that it is very close to its factory data. 24-inch rims should be really taken into consideration here. I think it also has to do with my mate's weight. It was a great test drive on a drag track. It is perfect. It has a great acceleration and most importantly, facts are foremost, but the feeling was extremely satisfying. For me, feel is one of the most crucial aspects of the whole thing. Unfortunately, everything that has a beginning must have an end. We have to end this video, and I have a couple more words to tell you. My thoughts on this car. What is my overall impression and the amount of fun we had with this car today? I started this video saying that this car is a pure status. By status, I mean that this car compared to other vehicles is in a league of its own. This particular model, as you know, is very fresh. It has a 6,000 kilometer mileage and was manufactured in 2021. Lamborghini teamed up with MansorY and gave birth to a real lord of darkness, Hades. This car is like stripper. You can watch, but you can't touch. Same can be applied to this car. You should not touch it, just watch it, with pleasure. But I need to warn you here. Watching this baby for too long is dangerous. It might mess up your brain and lead you to some shady thoughts. What can I compare this car to? Since we look at this car as at a very expensive luxury, don't get too sad if you can never purchase such a car. It is indeed luxurious. But if you turn it into a dream, good luck to you. Some dreams come true. Now I need to draw a parallel. What would I compare it to? Let's try this. Let's draw accent on practical side of things. Let me draw a parallel between different types of watches. There are watches that cost $100 and they show time just fine. And there are $100,000 watches. They show same time, same way as $100 ones. So if we want to know what time it is, both watches will do the job. But here is a difference in status. $100,000 one is made of gold and diamonds, and $100 one can be bought in a pawn shop for $10. Same with cars. If you want a 4x4 SUV, much cheaper car can give you same amount of quality and satisfaction as Urus. But if you want to have an exclusive luxury that is in league of its own, then this car is definitely a great choice. It's a dream car indeed. I deeply believe that dreams come true for the ones that truly want it. What else can I say? When I was driving this car, I felt like an ultimate final boss. I felt like I ruled this town. Master, ruler. Free drift to everyone since tomorrow. Vote for number. What number should we pick? 69. 69. Vote for 69. Free drift. Every household deserves Urus and we will give it to you. Well, this is everything I wanted to say. Plus, it is really cold. I won't lie. It's -2 degrees. Here, check it. Time is up as well. I'd like to say goodbye to all of you. One more time. Happy New Year. Wish you good health and wish you to own Urus. I think this is a great wish, because if you own one, then you must be hella happy and successful. See you next time. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and of course like the video. I would like to thank owner one more time. See you next week. We will have another amazing car and another beautiful video for you next week. Goodbye.